Yeah, if you're with someone, you think, well, once they do this and this and this, then they'll be who I want. They might do those things to reel you in, and then they'll just go back.
It makes a huge difference in the quality of my life and how I feel to know that I have her.
If I lost him, that would just be like, I can't even go there.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Relationships. I'm your host, Beatrice, and today's episode is a really, really close one to my heart. I'm joined by two dear friends of mine, Mike and Robin Evans. They're a couple who've been married for 31 years, and they've been together for 33 years. They've played such a pivotal role in my own life and in my relationships. And I'm just so honored to have them on this podcast. Their story is full of wisdom, growth, and grace. They have a significant age gap, yet their connection and commitment has stood the test of time. In this conversation, we talk about how they met, the early challenges they have faced, and what it was like blending families and the work that they both had to put in to keep this marriage strong over the decades. They've also spent years walking alongside other couples, whether that's through counseling, mentoring, or just offering guidance through all the seasons of love. You're in for a good one with this episode, so let's get into it. Well, I'm so excited to have you both here. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we're starting off every episode with the marriage series, asking everyone how long you've been together and how long you've been married. So
How long we've been together? 33 years.
Okay.
And married almost 31. 31
Wow.
in September.
Aw, I love that. I just want to say I'm like so excited to have you guys on because I mentioned this in the intro, but you guys have played such a pivotal role in my 20s. Like I'm gonna get emotional. Oh, I was not expecting that. I feel like you guys really like helped shape my faith and wow, I'm getting emotional. I wasn't expecting this. So I'm just super grateful to have you guys here because it means a lot. It's like a full circle moment for me. So
Now I'm going to get
I know, now we're all gonna we haven't even started.
getting emotional.
Oh my goodness, I was not expecting that. Anyway, this is going to be an amazing episode, and I'm just grateful to have you guys. You have so much wisdom, and you've walked alongside so many couples that I know, that we both know, and I think you've helped a lot of people with your story and your relationship because you guys are such a great example. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I'm really grateful, and I don't take this time for granted. But let's not get emotional. Let's talk about how you guys met. I want to hear the story because you guys had a very unconventional start to your relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And I love sharing that because I think sometimes we get stuck in this like fairy tale world of how it's going to look and what it's supposed to be. And God isn't always working in our plans specifically, right? I think he sometimes surprises us. So I want to know how you guys met.
We were both attending the same church.
Okay.
And I was doing a divorce recovery ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it was a ministry that encompassed many different recovery processes. And one of them was the divorce recovery. And that's the one that I was doing that group. And I happened to be at the door when Robin showed up and asked if she was in the right place. And I said, "Oh yeah, you're in the right place. Come right on in." Then I watched where she went and sat, and I thought, okay, I got to work my way around this so she sees me again because she's not paying a whole lot of attention to me. So I walked all the way around the front, hoping that I would catch her eye, and then I still wasn't getting a whole lot of attention from her. So I walked up to her, told her that I liked her glasses.
Of course.
And she gave me the same kind of look that she continued to give me for about 6 months, which was get away from me, clown. I'm not interested. So that began the process, and it took me, I think it took me 6 months to get her to I didn't actually get her to go out with me because I told her, hey, let's just be pals. I'm not dating. I don't like dating, which was true. I was not dating, and I asked her to let's just be a couple pals that we are. We'll just go have something to eat together, right? And she said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, because he said let's just friends. And so I was like, okay, I can be friends with you, but I'm not interested in any kind of dating. Nothing. I have 2 little kids. My plan was to never get married again until at least until my children were grown up, because I had been raised by a step parent and thought, I don't want to put my kids through that. And so I was really like, it's just going to be me and God, and we're going to raise these kids, and that's going to be that. And so I was not interested. And I mean, I thought he was handsome and everything, but I was just like, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, you're like, we're not in that headspace.
No, not in that headspace at all. So when he said, like, let's go, just walk down to the end of the street and get some sushi. I said, oh, okay, we can do that. Then he calls and says, well, why don't you get dressed up? I thought, get dressed up, and I'm going to take you to this other sushi place. We had to get in the car and drive there. And I thought, this sounds more like a date.
He's sly. He got you to commit.
He got me to commit.
And then he bait and switched it.
He bait and switched it. And we did. We went. And he's very charming, as you know, Beatrice.
No, we love him for that.
But,
yeah.
But I was also in a headspace where just a relationship with her was going to be enough. Because I just sensed that this was right, not necessarily from a romantic point of view, but from a relational point of view.
Yeah.
I sensed that this was right, and so I pursued it on that basis.
Yeah, and it just took time. I mean, we started off as friends, and then it didn't take long. I mean, I was just totally smitten with him.
You were?
Totally smitten, yeah. Even though he drives up, I mean, everything was not in his favor. He drove a big white Cadillac.
Oh my gosh.
What the world? He was a grandfather. I was 36.
Okay.
And so he was a grandfather. He had 4 adult children. And I'm like, no, he's 16 years older than me. He'll die. I mean, you think
you're like, everything about this is a no. You're like, this is a hard pass.
It's a hard pass. And so part of me said, well, he's safe because of that. And then the other part said, well, but he's just irresistible. So then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So after a period of time, then, I mean, I was just crazy about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were qualities about him that you were just like, yes, like, because he had so much stacked up against him?
Right.
Well, what were the qualities that you felt were like, wow, this is something I can't
Yeah, I'll get teared up again because I mean, we're still dealing with the fact that I believe these things about him, and it ended up being so true through the 30 years we've been married. He's the kindest.
I know.
The kindest person that I've ever known. He still is the kindest person I've ever known. He's very compassionate, and
it's gonna be a very emotional.
I know it's gonna be emotional, but he just. I mean, it's almost hard to believe.
Yeah,
he understands what it means to sacrificially love, and not just me, but lots of people. I mean, and I mean, you're crying because
I'm crying because I know.
You know.
Yeah,
and it's almost like he's too good to be true. And so I've been married to him for 30 years, and he's steadfast.
He's still like that.
He's still like that. He's just still like that. He's just the finest human I've ever known. And I can say that today. We've been going through some stuff now where it's just like our love's just like more deep and more powerful now than it was at the beginning. So who can say that after being married for so many years? I mean,
so rare.
It's so rare. And he's also hilarious.
He
so
is.
That's the other
like, if anything, you're going to laugh with Mike. Yes. And you also never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
You never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
direction it's going to go.
I know. And when married, a friend of ours, she said, we're very serious. I mean, my family's very serious, Mike, so you can't make jokes during the wedding. Because he officiated it. But he's,
oh man,
he's hilarious. So I think the qualities that, those are the qualities that really stood out to me. Plus, he was just like super handsome to me. and I mean, he's just handsome in general, but the age kind of just melted. Like we talked about 16 years difference.
Yeah.
We're together. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Even though it is. And sometimes we laugh because he'll make jokes or statements that come from his generation. I said, well, that's not how it is. Like in the 70s, it wasn't like that. It was like that in the 50s. So he's only 3 years younger than my parents.
Wow. I've never thought to put it into that perspective.
Yeah. Because my parents, well, my mom was 17. She had me
really young. Yeah.
But still, that's like, and he would make jokes with the kids saying, yeah, I love your mom. And if I started dating your mom when I was 16, I would have put her in a car seat in the back seat and drove around. And they just,
see, that's the stuff he says.
Yes. Stop it. That's so gross.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So those were the things that just like totally did it for me.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And Mike, what about you? Because I know Robin's there's endless qualities for her as well. You guys both scored.
I saw her as a sister in the Lord. And my life was about serving people and serving the Lord. And that's what my whole orientation was at that time. And so when I saw Robin, really from the
moment you saw her,
from the moment I saw her, it was her physical appearance. But as I got to know her, it was her deep qualities, her love, her compassion. I didn't know enough to really be able to make that assessment, but I felt it. And so that's what caused me to pursue her, because not only was she resistant, but her kids didn't even like me.
No.
And so when we first got involved, I went over to the house, and the kids were just, Zachary jumped up on the kitchen table and threw food at me.
Oh my God.
from the table. He was picking up fruit and throwing it at me, saying, "Bad Mike, bad Mike."
He was 2. So.
And
yeah.
And Rachel was laying on the floor screaming and kicking the walls because I was an invader.
Yeah, they were going through a lot because being divorced and their dad left, and it wasn't a good situation the way he left, and so so they were traumatized, and so they were going through. But he didn't care. He was very patient, just loved them forever.
Yeah, most kids like me, and so the fact that this precious woman that I cared so deeply for and wanted a relationship with, not a romantic one, but just a friendship, the fact that her children didn't like me didn't affect how I felt about her at all, which is really unusual. And so I knew Robin was a person that I didn't want to have a life without her in it. So.
Oh my God, we're going to cry this entire episode. It's not even funny.
So I was willing to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
To be there for her.
Oh my God, I'm not going to make it through this episode. Oh man.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've been through a lot, and we had been through a lot up to that point too, in our lives. We had Mike had been through 2 relationships that were just, the women didn't appreciate him, and so we had a lot of pain, a lot of issues with. So we go into like a lot of issues with trust. For me, I had a guy who left me with 2 little children for another woman and flew off to Israel, and just said, "I don't want to be your husband. I want to just be free and date this 19-year-old." And it was just so. We had a lot of almost like, well, I'm not any good because this person just threw me out for no reason.
Abandonment issues.
Issues and things like that.
You guys both came in, I feel like, with so much pain and like deep-seated pain, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it took, I mean, I think our relationship in some ways, we talked about that before we came, is that, I mean, it's a miracle. I mean, God was in this. There's just, our relationship's a miracle. So it's kind of hard to say, well, if you do these things, everything's going to work out, because for us, it just, I think because God was in the midst of the whole thing, that, and we trusted God. We may at times not have trusted ourselves or trusted each other in some ways, but we trusted God. And so we just knew that, I mean, that God was doing this. And all the way through, even to now, we know that God's hand's been on us and on our relationship and on our kids' relationships and the whole thing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to add to what Robin said, that in my first marriage, I was not really a good husband. And so it was not a matter of being married to somebody that didn't appreciate me as much as it was a matter of me not really. The connection between the two of us was such that it was not really a successful union, primarily because I was inadequate. And so when you're married to somebody that is struggling to the degree that I was struggling in my first relationship, it's very hard to make that work. And I was very grateful by the time I met Robin. Those things that were in my way as a young man were no longer in my way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so relatable to a lot of men today. And I'm curious if you're open to sharing, like, what were those blocks or what were those inadequacies you felt like you had in your first marriage? Because I feel like I hear this a lot from men down the road, and I'm just curious what those were for you, if you're willing to share.
I'm alcoholic.
Okay.
And so I've been sober for many, many, many years. But when I was a young man, I was a daily drinker. And it's very difficult to function at a high degree when you're a daily drinker. That was primarily it.
That was, well, also, you're, I think in the 60s.
Yeah, because it's also time.
The time frame, I think, because we've talked about this. And in the 60s, all the things are true. I mean, Mike's like the original, I mean, not to the extreme, but like kind of like the lead guy in the Madman.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So he had a job where, like, the drinking at the cocktails, the martinis, all of that kind of, he lived that life. And women had their place, and his wife had her place in the home, taking care of the kids, ironing, for his wife's, I'm telling your stories, but for his wife, for a present, I don't know if it was Christmas or birthday or whatever, or her anniversary gift, it was Annie's little shoe shine kit, and to shine his shoes. I mean, so who gives their wife Annie's little shoe shine kit to shine your shoes for you? That was Mike. And Mike just believed that a woman's place needed to be there, to be seen, not her. So all of that, I think, brought to her. Then in the 70s, then women started getting more, hey, I don't need to put up with this. And she kind of was in that headspace. I don't even know who I am. And, I want a job. I want to make my own money. Well, he's like, no, I make the money. You stay at that. So it's those kinds of things, I think. And that mentality of,
I screwed that up. I had pretty shiny shoes there.
But I think
that's one good thing you had, I guess.
I think part of that whole attitude of a man is a man, and the man's, and we can talk about our relationship too. He brought that into our relationship.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna be my follow-up question.
Yes, and so I think but I think that with Anne, I think a lot of that was her, and so she wanted to break away because even when you quit drinking with her, she still wasn't happy.
Right. I come from that when men were men and the women were glad of it era. And
the double standard, like, okay, for you to do things, but
tough guy,
to do things.
tough guy, macho man.
Yeah.
That was part of my orientation.
Yeah. And so I think initially when we were married, the good news is about our marriage is that we go back to he's so kind, so wonderful and all those things. But he brought into the marriage some of that mentality of not trusting women in general. And so I spent a lot of our first portion of our marriage helping him understand that women don't think the way you think they think. And so, but I had to be very patient with it because
she was very patient.
And and a lot of it had to do with like the way women dressed. And like that woman's dressed like that because she's trying to be provocative for a man. I'm thinking, no, she's trying to be stylish. She's not even thinking about being provocative for a man. And so he took him a while to get into that groove, and it was hard. But so he felt like women in general were not, I don't know. But anyway, so he just thought the women were thinking things that they actually weren't thinking. And so after, I'd say it took 10 years at least.
Wow.
For him to turn around. Yeah. Slowly but surely. And so it was like monitoring like what I would wear, like certain things I would wear. He would think, why are you wearing that? And it's like, I'm wearing it because I like it.
And I find that so crazy because you're she's like a style icon. If anybody is listening and watching this, like Robin's style, you've always been stylish since we've known each other over a decade now. Oh my God, we're probably close to 15 years at this point. And you always, so it's funny that's, it's like God would use something that you're so passionate about and you're so amazing at, to teach you a different mindset.
Yeah, and it was. And it finally clicked with him. Now he's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Well, you style him now.
I style him. And so, but it took a while. Like he would like I would dress with like longer dresses and more conservative, like make sure that this is all,
covered.
And which is buttoned up and all good. And so I was like, and I did it for a while because thinking I want him to feel comfortable. I want him to feel okay. And then there came a point where I'm thinking, you know what? Enough is enough. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to dress the way I want. And this is how it's going to be from now on. And so he said, you know what? I love you and I trust you. So it kind of came to that kind of a situation where I love you and I trust you. But
I think this is an important topic, actually.
Yeah.
Because one of the keys to staying married and working together is developing together. Yeah. And you can only do that through deep commitment and deep love.
Yeah.
And and also an understanding that something as significant as what Robin is describing can actually take 10 years to begin to improve.
Yeah.
And so if people disagree with each other about something like that, but if they're deeply committed to one another, they can work it out. But it takes patience. It takes a deep commitment to one another to make it work and to see it through, because it doesn't just happen. It doesn't happen that you decide this guy's an idiot and he's not getting it, and so therefore I'm out. That happens a lot with people. It was her patience, her understanding, her willingness to yield to that aspect of my personality that enabled me to have enough freedom and time to become more understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also he was so good at being like he's like the best stepfather. I don't even consider him a stepfather. My son believes he's his father. He wants to change his name to Evans, and he recently got tattooed. He's a firefighter in Los Angeles, and he can't change his name right away because of all of that. But he's so committed to being an Evans. He got tattooed great big Evans on one leg, and on the other leg it says 1990, which is the year he was born. And then he showed it to me, and like, do you get it, Mom? I'm saying, yeah, you've been in Evans since the day you were born.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so he's that much. Mike is his father. Rachel loves Pop. They call him Pop. Loves Pop. She's still committed to her biological father as her father, that's normal and perfectly great.
Yeah.
But, but he was my kids were not easy. I mean, and because they were not all in with him for a long time. And so, but he just lovingly, patiently, unconditionally loved them their entire lives. He sacrificed for them everything.
Yeah.
Treated them. There was no difference in the way he treated his own kids versus the way he treated Rachel and Zach. None. Absolutely none.
Wow.
Which is quite amazing. And
I think it's such a testament to, like you mentioned, the commitment. And I don't see that as much today anymore. I think our society is so built on quick, fast, must be right away. Yeah. And I started this podcast, and the work that I'm doing now, it's because I want to figure out, like, why do we have it so backwards today? What is it? And just hearing you share that, I'm like, I think a big part of it is our inability to really commit in the long term. And we try to mitigate risk when we do that, but marriage is a risk. You don't know what the person's going to be like in 10 years, 30 years, down the road. And I think a lot of people are probably missing out on partners who could be great, or marriages that could be great, because they're not willing to put in that work, that patience, the effort to see things through. And I see that so much more even in dating relationships. It's like we're so quick to just be like, not good. And I'm like, I'm also in that category. And yeah, it makes me sad to think that, like, we've lost that, I think, as a society.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about it before we came to. Thinking, like, what is it about? If there's like something that I would say that's so different now, is I think there's so many, there's so much pressure to get it right. I got to get it right.
Yeah.
And social media and all the access to so much. I think that you guys are just bombarded with so much and so many choices and so much pressure to do everything just right. I mean, you go from, I find it hilarious that just to get married, just to get engaged is just like everything's a huge ordeal. You have to like plan the engagement.
Yeah, it has to be a big thing.
Big thing. Everything's big and grand, and nothing's simple anymore. And so I think that it's really moved from the simplicity of life. That's where your core values come from. They don't come from all the woo and all the and then once all the woo woo's over, then you're left with two people. And the two people, you're either committed or you're not committed. And life is full of, I like what C.S. Lewis says, that, this is kind of a downer, but life's really hard. And then there's stabs of joy. And I think that we need to take the joy that we get and just cultivate from that, rather than just like, well, this isn't good, so everything's going to fall to the wayside, Or the other thing is like, people aren't willing to like really work with each other. They bring in like, I get the helps because we've been with a couples group for how many years? Like 10 years. We have a group that now we meet over Zoom because everyone's all over the world now.
That you lead, or couples that
we've known, like young couples from the church. And we've known them for 10 years, and we started off in our home that they would come every Saturday, and then when we moved back to Orange County, then they would come to our house. Then the pandemic happened. Then people moved out of state, and now we have people are out. Everyone's out of state now.
Wow.
All of them. And we have a couple that's in Italy, and then another guy who's in Japan. So this group's still together. The guy in Japan's not in it anymore, but everybody else is in it, and we just Zoom now and we talk. And so we've like lived life together. Yeah. It's not more like Mike and I are their mentors. It's not like that. We're all in different stages of relationship, and we just come together now it's every month. It was every week, then it was every 2 weeks. Now it's every month because everyone has kids now.
Yeah.
And so just to do life together. And I think that the more you can do life with people and community and have that kind of accountability and walk through hard times and understand that, I think that's hugely important for couples. And I think everyone's disconnected. Families are disconnected. You can do life alone. Now with, we discovered Chat GPT.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of scary.
You could just be a friend.
new friend.
You could just be a friend with Chat. I mean, Chat's my great buddy. I mean, geez, it's crazy. It's really,
They talk to you like a human.
hi, Robin, how you doing today? I'm like, But anyway,
Comforting, right?
yeah, it's very odd, very odd. And so it just takes that personal. And then you guys also have dating apps that never existed.
Yeah.
And so that's got to be really weird.
Yeah.
From my perspective, that would be really hard and strange to do it that way.
I think a lot of people, are fatigued with the apps. Because it is hard. You see a photo of someone and you have 3 little paragraphs that you have to decide if this is someone you want to talk to. And you miss the in-person interaction, right? Yeah. So like you miss I saw her at the door and I was like, who is that? You're like, I saw this person online and I saw 3 photos. It's like, it's not the same. And then you meet them in person and it's a totally different vibe. You may not vibe at all based on a photo, And so I think we're missing so many points of connection. And not only in dating, I think the apps, ChatGPT, everything else, instant everything. You're ordering on an iPad now when you go to restaurants. I think we're losing, and it's really sad, but we're losing the art of connection. And then we expect people to connect well in relationship when it's the most intimate, close thing you're going to have. It's like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see that decline because I'm seeing it more and more and more. And we're losing that ability. And I think it's getting even harder to date, even harder to find partners. So we just don't know how to connect.
Yeah.
We don't have that practice in our day-to-day life. And I've heard a lot, this is like a common thread, is the community aspect. Almost every couple that I've interviewed so far, that has been at the core, is we have community around us. We can't do this alone.
Yeah.
And I think when couples try to do it alone, you see it. That's where you see issues happen.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Look at the Bible. God's like, I didn't create you to be alone. You always had community. You always had that. And so I don't know why we think that we can just make it out on our own,
Exactly.
So it's really...
And that having that, like you said, accountability and also just people around you who care. And I think that's hugely important.
Yeah.
Support of all of that.
Yeah. Did you ever have, as I want to go back to talking about age gaps, age differences, because I've experienced it and someone I've dated, I have friends that have experienced it, 17, 18-year difference. And I think it kind of has a bad rap a lot of the time when it's too big of a gap, whether each direction it goes in. But how did you kind of overcome that? Because I'm sure things have come up throughout your marriage where maybe age was something that came up. Like, has anything ever come up, or has it really just not been an issue?
This is interesting because initially when we got married, like my mom said, why are you going to marry this guy? You're going to be a widow at this young age. And then what are you going to do? That was her response. And my response was, well, even if I got 10 years with him, I'm so crazy about him that I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt about him in the beginning. I still feel that about him now. But and his kids, the other way around, were like, his son took him aside and said, Dad, you don't just get married for sex. So that's kind of where his, the other end of the spectrum was coming. But for me, the age thing, I'm going to start to cry now again.
Oh,
the age thing.
It's okay. We're already.
We're like crying. So what the heck? The age thing has never been an issue because he's so youthful. Yes. Nobody ever believes that.
No, he is.
He's going to be 83. No one would ever believe he's going to be 83. He seems like he's closer to my age. And, but when he turned 80 in the last 3 years, the age difference for me has been, it's hit me. Mm-hmm. It's been scary because I feel like, well, because you read, oh, this guy was 84 when he died. Oh, this guy's 85 when he died. And people are dying in their 80s. I never thought. And so when he hit 80, the last 3 years, I felt myself like almost panicked that I would lose him. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And so it's only been like in the last 6 months that I've been able to kind of let that go a little bit and like push more into the relationship because I felt myself pulling away out of fear that I got to protect myself because if I don't protect myself, I'm going to be crushed if something happens. And so he could feel it, but being Mike, he's just so loving and patient. He wasn't saying anything. He knew I was pulling away. And then I think I hit like a crisis mode like 3 months ago. And I just felt myself like needing him, really, really needing him. And so all of that kind of just melted away. And so now it's like, okay, I'm all in again. But it was scary. And it's still like, it creeps in thinking that if I lost him, that would just be like, I can't even go there.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just huge. But the truth of the matter is my brother died of brain cancer when he was not even 60. And, you know, my stepfather died when he was 62. So people die at all ages, but I think it becomes more real. Like in the 80s, it just became patently more real to me.
I think you have hit on a really critical aspect of how people can stay together for a long period of time. Because while you pointed out an issue that was affecting our relationship for the first 10 years and how you patiently waited for me to begin to understand what I needed to understand. I went through a period in about year 20 where I felt her pulling away. And I had to accept that Robin was so important to me that even if she was going to pull away, I was 100% committed. And even if it meant that I was not going to get what I needed from the relationship, the most important thing was the relationship. That I would do what I had to do and put what I needed aside for her. And it's been probably in the last 6 months that she has come back fully.
Yeah, fully. Yeah.
It's made a huge difference. And at 83, I think it's really good that I'm getting that from her.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much longer that I have. And it makes a huge difference in the quality of my life and how I feel to know that I have her back.
Yeah, fully.
I didn't expect this. I thought I was just going to be able to tell a few jokes.
Yeah.
Bethel, where?
Call it a day.
Yeah. Yes. Keep it rolling, but I'm not going to make it.
I'm okay. I'm
going to need it because my makeup's running.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So the interesting thing through all of this is, too, that even like when felt like I was pulling away a little bit to like protect my own, like a little bit.
What did that look like? Like what?
See, this is where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
What it looked like was everything. When you're intimate with someone, when you're like in that intimate relationship where you know them so well, you can sense any little thing.
Every little. Yeah.
I was doing all the things. I was doing everything.
Like you were there, but you weren't there.
I was there, but I wasn't there. He could tell. And there was this little part, I call it this little part of my heart that I just kind of, not the whole thing, just this one part that I was saving in the event that something would happen. I wouldn't be totally crushed.
Protection
It's
mechanism.
a protection mechanism completely. And when you're in a relationship and someone knows you so well, they can tell that that's going on. They can tell if you're holding anything back at all. And so we have always been best friends. And so that didn't go away at all, ever. I mean, he's my best friend in the whole world. He knows how crazy I am about him. That didn't go away. It's just this little thing that he could tell. And it got, when I say it was by the time he turned 80, it got worse because I felt like maybe there was more than a little. There was like half my heart was like bottling up.
And how long was that? Did you, as you mentioned, it was year 20.
Year 20, he started feeling it. When it really like happened was when he turned 80.
Okay.
So that was like, so it's been like 3 years. It's really been significant.
But it started.
Maybe it started. I don't think
It was very, very slight.
Light.
But I'm so in tune with everything that she does, everything she feels. I'm so in tune with it that maybe she
maybe I
didn't even see it.
Yeah, maybe I didn't.
But
see it.
I saw it.
Yeah. I probably wasn't even aware.
But it was really, really so slight.
Yeah.
But the depth of the commitment and the depth of the involvement between the two of us is so intense that any slight deviation from the intensity, I see it.
Yeah. And plus, I think there were things going on in like with the kids and everything. And as they got to be teenagers and then young adults, we went through some difficult times with just children things and with his kids. I mean, we've just gone through. And so all that adds into it. And so I think, I think that stuff like that, things like that, just life.
And I think it boils down to fear. And I think for people that are watching this podcast or listening to it, there will be times in your relationship when you will sense with the other person something and you think there's something wrong and I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting what I need. And I think it's helpful to look at the fear aspect on the other side.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to understand where the other person is coming from if you realize that oftentimes those adjustments that you think are driven by selfishness are actually driven by fear.
I would say most of the time it's driven by fear. And I think now that I work with clients more, I see fear being has such a hold on a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I saw it in my life, right? Fear of relationship. I was scared either to become my parents or I was scared that I was meet someone amazing and they would die. Like that's how I was thinking. I'm like, oh my God, something's going to happen. Or, you know, I'd be the extreme feelings. And ultimately I'm scared. There's fear at the bottom of it. And it's usually our protection mechanisms, everything that we build up, the walls, all of that at the core, it's some sort of fear.
Yeah.
Whether it's I'm not good enough fear or what if I'm not worthy of this love? What if I can't be the person this person needs? Or there's so many reasons, but the underlying, like you said, is usually fear.
Yeah. I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
And also your core of how you deal with life. We talked about this briefly ahead of time. It stems from your childhood, how you were brought up, all the ways you coped as a kid, because all that's just ingrained in you. And you take that into, a 67-year-old woman, you take that, I still am Robin, the 4-year-old warrior or whatever I was back then. And so to fight those, to understand that fully, understand, hey, that's what that is. That's not how I'm going to function, but that's where that comes from. But very important to understand all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious because you said, the Robin, the warrior, because that's how I know you. You're such a strong woman. Yeah. Mike, how is it being with someone who is that strong? Like, you're opinionated. You stand for the things that you believe in. You do not waver. You are a force to be reckoned with. You're a fashionista. You're my icon. You're someone I look up to. But as a man, we hear this a lot today, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with independent women or, women are making more money than men in some cases. I think for you, how did that play out in your relationship?
I'm as strong as they come.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he's very as strong as I am. He's stronger,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think he has a quiet strength about him. He's not
It's not forceful.
he's not forceful at all. But yeah, I'm a force.
Yeah, you are.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And it takes a strong guy. I think that's why part of the reason I had trouble in relationships in the past is because of that. Because that comes out, and then it's like, what do I do with this woman? She's just, and so if that person isn't at least as fierce as me, they're gonna feel like I can't do this.
Yeah.
And they'd run the other way.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And what I love about your relationship too is you each let each other be who they are.
yeah.
Like, I never see, Mike's hilarious, who you never know what he's going to say. He's also deep. And when he says things, sometimes they're incredibly profound, but you never try and diminish that. You don't try and dim that light of his, or you don't try and change him. You don't, I've never seen you put him down in person. Like, oh, why are you, you don't put him down. You laugh at it and you're like, oh, there's Mike doing his thing. You're supportive of that. And I see the same with you, Mike. Like, I've never seen you diminish Robin's light. I've never seen you try and talk her down or put her in her place or anything of that. And I think you guys are such a beautiful testament of that, of really, you're committed to one another, but you also love each other for who they are. And you don't try and change them. You're not looking to make them a different person.
Yeah.
You love them for who they really are.
That's right.
And I think that's a testament to why this relationship is also very strong.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that when you enter a relationship, if you're not going to love the person for who they are, if you're entering the relationship thinking, well, once we get married, they'll change that, or that will change, or I won't tolerate that. Go the other way, because people are who they are. Yes, they change over time.
Yep.
I mean, Mike's changed, I've changed, but we just keep loving each other through the changes. And yeah, very important to think. If you want to change somebody, why are you with them? Why are you with them? Because well, I like this, but I don't like that, so I want that to change. Well, that's who that person is. And when you're looking at core of who somebody is, like I would hate to see a guy come in and try to change you.
Yeah.
That would just
And I've been with guys like that.
That would make me crazy. I would think, don't do that to her.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you dated someone before, and I was like, no. This is who she is.
Yes, you have. Many a times, guys. Many a times she's...
No. This is who she is. You cannot do that. You cannot touch that on her. And so, I think that's hugely important. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when people ask, like, oh, how do I know if they're it? Or I don't know if this is someone I want to be with. I have girlfriends that will come to me and say, I don't know. And you told me this, I remember when I was dating back in my 20s, and I always repeat this, but it's if this person doesn't change, and this is exactly who they are today, could you be with them? Could you marry them? If not a single thing changes tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that is really confronting, because I answered that in my head was like, no.
Yeah.
And I ended up breaking up with the person because I was like, no, there's like 3 things I'm like that frustrate me so much that I want different. I don't want that. And I've said that to a lot of girlfriends, and it's very confronting.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality. It's if you've got to love that person for who they are today. And knowing that you're committing to someone new in 10 years. You don't know, right? You don't know, but the commitment is you're committed to the relationship and to the person, whoever that may be down the road, right? Your hobbies will change, your likes will change, you develop. But I think you guys are such a testament of like just the commitment to the relationship above all.
Yeah.
To the marriage, and what comes at it, you will deal. You will figure it out, as you go through a long term.
Yeah. That's so true.
Well said.
That's well said, because if you're with someone, you think, well, once they do this and this and this, then they'll be who I want. No, well, they might do those things to reel you in, and then they'll just go back.
Yeah.
And so that's another scary thought too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's knowing them. Who are they at the core?
Yes.
Right. Do you love that? Do you want to commit yourself to that? Not to the fantasy, not to what you want.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. I think that's very confronting for people. Yeah. Because I've seen people get married and it didn't end well.
No,
because they go in with that mindset. Oh, it'll get better. No, nothing will get better in marriage. Like, if anything, it'll get exemplified and it'll become bigger. Yes. The problems will become bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
One thing I want to talk about too is blending families. You've touched on kind of challenges there. I think that's a big reality for a lot of people today.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot more divorce. So obviously there's going to be a lot more remarriages and blending of families and all of that. I'd love for you guys to just kind of walk through some of the challenges you guys had and how you overcame a lot of them. Because you both had children. You had obviously much younger children. You had much older children. But yeah, I want to know how did that, because that's got to impact, I mean, that's going to impact a marriage and a relationship.
Yeah, I think for me, I was very fortunate that Mike, with Rachel and Zach, Mike loved them unconditionally, like they're like a father. And so in that respect, I think there were no issues. My kids, though, had a hard time with him because they felt, I think, sometimes disloyal to their biological father, who would see them every other weekend.
Okay.
And so they kind of like, yeah, but that's my dad. And so I think there was this resistance to really be all in. Zach became all in as a young adult, I would say.
But I never put pressure on him.
No pressure.
To do anything as it related to his relationship with his dad. And I think that's a critical thing for guys, is if our children are not our biological children, we have an obligation to love those children as they are, unconditionally.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, then peace and harmony are available. Even if the kid doesn't like you, even if the kid is frustrated, even if the kid feels threatened, if you can love them unconditionally, eventually things will work.
Yeah. And we had a talk at the very beginning before we got married that we were not going to have children of our own.
Okay.
Because that I felt like that would traumatize my children and it would cause just too much for them. And so we agreed to that. And then the other thing, which is very hard, and it goes against what traditional marriage should be. But I said, if we get married, my kids have to always come first. Not even between us, the kids have to be first. And I explained to him why, because they are coming from a broken situation. They need to know their mom, that they are first with me, no matter what. And so we have to take a back seat to what they need. And Mike agreed to that. And that's how we functioned. That's not how traditionally it should function. The marriage should come first and then everything else follows. But for us in this situation, I think this was important and it worked.
And I knew that was outside of the traditional way things should be. But I did agree to it because I felt that to try to do it any other way would be too difficult, too traumatizing for them. So I was willing to step back from a position where I felt would have been better for me to be in favor of their needs. I did that, and I've never looked back. I've never been sorry that I did that. It was just something that I had to do. I felt I had to do it, and I just did it.
Yeah. And with Mike's kids, they were all adults. And so Glenn got married when we were together. So Glenn was with a girlfriend that he was going to get married to. Scott was married and had a child when we got married.
Okay.
And his daughter she was married, but then she ended up getting divorced. Yeah, so she was married as well.
Remarried.
And then she got remarried while during our marriage. And I went into the relationship with, I am not going to try to be their mother. I'm not even going to try to be their best friend. I'm going to be here to cultivate a family as much as I possibly can in the context of what we've been given. So I don't want this to be weird for them. I don't want it to be like, oh, here comes another wife for dad, number 3, and she's 16 years younger than him. Oh, brother. I didn't want any of that. And so I really took a back seat, and whatever they wanted to do, however they wanted to act, whatever they felt they needed, I was there to serve them. And that's kind of the way that I and I have been, I've continued to do. I'm here to serve Mike and serve them. And I had no expectations on them whatsoever, none. And through the years, it's worked out. Like we'd have family gatherings that I would invite because his ex-wife, their mother, lived in Thousand Oaks or
Newbury Park.
Newbury Park. And then Scott lived in San Diego, and then Glenn lived in Los Alamitos, and Karen lived in Newbury Park as well. Well, we're all spread out, so the holidays become difficult. And so I said, well, we're kind of central. We were in Newport Beach at the time. We're kind of central. Why don't I just invite your ex-wife, her husband, your ex-mother-in-law, I would do that every Christmas. I would just have everybody to our house, and everybody could just be comfortable to be. And it worked really, really well for a long time. We did that. And so that's kind of how we cultivated this mixed thing. But when I was doing it, I was serving with zero expectation. Was I hurt? Yeah, I was hurt a lot because I felt like I was left out. I felt like they didn't really care about me that much. Understandably, I'm not their mother. They're adults. I'm just but I still feel the sting, but I would always think, look how Mike's loving my kids. I can certainly love them unconditionally. Yeah. And so it was, again, like caring for them and loving them unconditionally, no matter how I was treated, no matter what they thought of me, nothing. So, but I think that worked because we had each other. I think that worked, and it served us well. I think with the blended family, it doesn't work most of the time because people are selfish.
Oh, yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. If you're going to do a blended family, you better put yourself in the back seat. And it's one of the most selfless things you have to do in order to make a marriage work. You cannot be selfish and have a blended family at all. You can't think, what's in it for me? Why aren't these kids like respecting me? Why aren't they treating me this way? All of that has to just be gone. If it's there, it causes problems with the relationship. It causes problems with the kids. There's always tension. There's always friction. We really avoided a lot of that because we had the mindset, we're going to go into this selflessly and loving unconditionally.
I think that's an absolutely critical point. I have 3 natural children, and I've raised 3 children that were not mine. And I think I had to step back and not look for what am I getting out of this? Am I being respected as the dad, as the head of the house? I couldn't really do that because in a blended family situation, it's not a natural order of things. And so you can't expect things are going to look like you imagined them to look in a proper structure. You have a chaotic, in some cases, improper structure. And the only way to enable that to function is for me to put myself aside and say, what do these people need? It's my job to give them what they need. That's really important.
Really important. Yeah, because you figure if you're divorced and you're remarrying, okay, you didn't make the first one work for whatever reason. If you were left or you decided to divorce, whatever the reasons, and you have kids and all this, and you think, well, I'm going to go in, then everything's going to be great. We're going to blend 2 families, and it's just going to be this happy Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch does not exist. That's a fairy tale, fantasy, whatever. That doesn't, it just doesn't, because there's so much trauma. So much trauma.
And everyone experiences it differently too.
Yes.
So one kid could, be traumatized for this. The other kids may be older. They experience it separately. Yes. So it's multiple layers of trauma for kids usually. They all experience it differently.
Yes. And so you have to think, okay, if I'm going to put the kids first, I'm going to put the kids first. It's not about Robin. It's not about Mike. It's about, we're in the situation. We decided to make this commitment with each other. And this is what comes with it. To love these kids who've suffered under what decisions we made in the past.
Yeah.
Whether it's our fault or not our fault that it ended up in divorce, we still have to take responsibility that they're hurt, they're broken because of decisions that we made, and that we need to love them through that. And really, really, I mean, really, really important for people who are entering in. You don't enter it lightly. You have to have nerves of steel and hearts that just like, okay, this hurts, but keep moving forward. Yeah.
I think it's such a beautiful depiction of what sacrifice really means. I don't think we really know as a society anymore what that means. You know, I don't know where I heard this, but it's like don't think less of yourself, but think of yourself less.
Yeah.
And I think, and I think that's what sacrifice, that's what that is. We're not saying that you think of yourself as less of a being, you know, and you have to have, I think with that, you have to have a strong sense of self in that.
Yeah.
To make that decision.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking to these things to give you value, to give you worth, to give you all of that. And I see that a lot in my practice. Like so many times we're looking for all these external things to give us value. So whether it's, oh, well, now I get to be a mom and now I get to be this, you know, but maybe that's not how it's going to be when you have a blended family, right? So we have all these ideas of and I see it as we're broken and all of that in those of wanting to get validation from all that. And I'm sure that comes up with blended families.
Oh yeah.
You know,
or you think I've done all these things and they don't appreciate that I've done this thing or that thing, or you see, I think the other thing, I think what's been hard for Mike and I more than like the direct hit from like a child hurting us, for example, is watching that child hurt the other person.
Yeah.
And then just wanting to say, you got to be kidding here. This ain't happening. You are not going to do this. Then just biting your tongue and saying, I can't go there. And he's done the same thing with me, saying like my kids hurt me and say, just biting his tongue, not saying anything. So I think it's harder to almost to see the other person getting hurt than being hurt yourself. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad we talked about this because I think, like I said, I think this is going to come up quite a bit, you know, in our society today. You guys have counseled a lot of couples, walked through life with. I like to say counseling, but I know you're not officially counseling, but you've walked alongside a lot of relationships and with a lot of people. What have you seen as a common thread in when it came to challenges and issues that people are facing today? And what do you feel like we're missing in today's society when it comes to relationships? Or maybe you don't see similarities. I don't know, but I'm wondering if there's...
I'm trying to think. I think...
I haven't seen any common thread.
Because they're all so...
No, I'm curious. Like, do you see common thread?
I haven't seen any common thread. I've seen... issues are complex. Relationships are very complex.
Very.
When we've worked with any couple, it involved intense, personal, regular meetings, long periods of time talking, listening, to come up with understanding and to come up with ways of helping them move forward. It's really intense, and we've not been able to do it that many times because it is so intense.
With the married couples, I think.
With the married couples, yeah.
I think there's a common thread now that, and Beatrice hit on it. It's selfishness. People don't understand what self-sacrifice is. I've seen that when I'm thinking back to two couples in particular, when you're talking about that, it was selfishness on both ends, on both of those. Either one person was extremely selfish in the relationship. It's usually the one person, their needs aren't being met. And so the other person's carrying the weight of that and trying desperately and being unsuccessful in meeting all those needs and really bringing to light, like, you're being selfish here. You're not loving, you're committed to love this person and you're not loving them well. And so I think that it comes down to my needs aren't being met. I'm not getting this. I need that. and that person's not performing the way I like, or they let their appearance. I mean, this just goes on and on. I mean, just so many bizarre, like your appearance isn't good anymore. I don't like the way you look, and causing people to go out and feel like they need plastic surgery or whatever it is they think they need to make that other person happy. I think that's, it's just horrific.
I want to add to what Robin is saying. Oftentimes it's how they have been taught as children.
Yeah.
And how they've been conditioned. It's not so much, the selfishness is at the core of everything, but the biggest thing is that people have not experienced life in sufficient form to prepare them for the intricacies and the challenges of marriage. That's the biggest thing. It's not, we're all flawed.
Yes. Yeah. And we're all selfish. That he's right.
It's not selfishness per se. It's the way we are conditioned. Yeah. And if we can approach one another from the point of view, I'm not seeing selfishness on your part. I'm seeing a product of your conditioning. And I love you, and I'm going to stand by you, and I'm going to help you see through it.
We just don't have that grit anymore. Like, I think about that in our society, and we like, how do I even say it? We're just so in our own worlds. Yeah. You know, and I worry about this for myself. I live alone. I've built a life all by myself. Everything's me, everything, you know, it's I feel like we don't even have the
capacity of the room to
even practice that in some ways, or, you know, so it's sad. It's sad to see that, because I think that's it is our conditioning. We're also conditioned. Everything's quick, fast. We want 2-day shippings, like Instagram, even like, you know, the apps, and everything's like, and it has to be curated. Everything's curated, right? So we haven't lived through enough life for longevity, right? We haven't lived enough life to work hard through difficult things. Yeah. And especially when I think about, even as Christians, like, we were never called to have comfortable lives that were just going to be free flowing all the way till we die. Like, we never had that. But the minute something hard comes up, we're like, I give up. Yeah. You know, we're so quick to give up. We don't have grit to get through the hard thing anymore. Yeah. And I'm just seeing that as a wider society, and it's conditioning. It's societal conditioning.
Yeah, you nailed
it.
You nailed it. I didn't nail it. You nailed it. Because the selfishness is like a reflection of that. But
I think the conditioning is the selfishness. Like, we're conditioned in, you know, everything's about us. Because in my work too, we look at needs, right? We often look at, what are your personality needs? Everyone's needs are very different, right? They don't all look the same. And what we focus on is, well, how can you meet these needs? So that you're not putting the pressure of meeting these needs on your partner. You could have a need for adventure. Maybe your partner doesn't like adventure or whatever. Great. Go to a hiking club. Go find some cool thing to go do. Go jump out of a plane. I don't know. Let's make a list of things that are adventures for you that you don't have to put that pressure on a partner. Yeah. But I think today we expect so much. It's like Tim Keller said this in his book, Meaning of Marriage. I'm going to paraphrase it, but he's like, we're in a society today where we expect too much of marriage and too little of marriage. Yeah. Where it really matters. And I see that a lot. We expect our partner to be everything for us, to fill every void in our lives, to be everything. And it's not real. No one can live up to that. No. In a marriage. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of the problems stem, you know? And that's like I said, that's the work I do. It's like, how do we do this where you can fill a lot of these voids on your own? Because your partner isn't going to fill everything for you.
Right. The thing is too, when you're in a relationship with someone, to really look at that. What are we expecting from each other? Mm-hmm. What do we need? What do we really need from this? Mm-hmm. And there's nothing sweeter and deeper and better than to know that someone has your back, no matter what. Yeah. That someone is going to be there for you when when the chips are down, when you really need that they're there, they're rock solid there for you, that they love you more than anybody else on this planet. The other things are all fluff. And I think that part of what's happening because of, like you said, because of all the pressures and all the apps and the Instagram and all that and the curated life, people are focusing in more on the fluff and not on the actual heart of the matter.
Yeah.
And that'll destroy a marriage because the fluff is nothing. The fluff is something, but the fluff, when it comes down to you come home from work and you're an emotional wreck and you need to just have that person there that's going to be there for you, that you can just like lean on. That's everything. Not the fact that, well, you don't want to go for a hike and I like, or, we don't do this or we don't do that anymore. Focusing in on those things is almost easier than dealing with the heart stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's at the core of it.
Yeah.
We're avoiding the difficult things because it requires a lot more of us.
Oh, yeah.
It requires a lot more vulnerability of us. It might require us to change. And we don't want to look at ourselves that way. We want to be selfish, but when it requires me to change and dig deep, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm good. Maybe you're the problem.
Yeah.
We always look at somebody else being the problem. And oftentimes it's the shadow in ourselves that is actually the issue.
Yeah.
But we find it and we point it out in others.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, because if you're in a good marriage, that person will ultimately change you.
Yeah.
For the best. And the ways that you need to be changed. And they rub the hard edges off. You become softer. You become more pliable. You become a better human.
Yeah.
Like me.
Aww.
Like you. Yeah, like you. No, yeah, you've become like a lot softer over the years. I think it's because of our relationship.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
I think marriage is a mirror at the end of the day. It's a mirror.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really want to see themselves outside of the light that they've painted for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's confronting.
It's confronting. And sometimes it's ugly.
Oh,
when you see, oh dear, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I tell a lot of clients, I'm like, oh, look, when you're single, you're like the most secure version of yourself. You're like, this is great. And a lot of the work and the growth happens when you're in the relationship.
Yeah.
And that's when you need more of that support. And, you can heal and grow to some degree to be ready for a relationship, but it doesn't mean you're not going to be triggered or things aren't going to come up when you're in the relationship. Right. Like you will see the ugly parts of yourself. And a good relationship, a good marriage will show that to you.
Yeah.
Because if it's not showing that to you, then I'm thinking, are you even getting deep? Are you both actually open and vulnerable with one another?
Right. Or are you just going through the motions? And I think that when you're married and then you start having children, that adds a whole other dynamic, because then you can lose each other. And when the kids are, little, and then when they're growing up, then they become the focus of everything. And so your whole life is revolved around their needs and what they're doing. We were, by virtue of how things were set up with us, we had every other weekend to ourselves because Rachel and Zach were with their father. So we had those weekends, just the two of us. And I think that was a gift in a sense, that we were able to spend that much quality time together, just the two of us, through the years too. So, but not everyone has that either. So they have to carve out time with each other.
The intentionality in that. It's you have to be really intentional. Yeah. Well, this was so beautiful. Any words of wisdom you would give people who are single or in dating right now, or maybe early on in relationships? If you had to kind of sum it all up of 33 years together, what do you want to leave people with?
I'm out of wise sayings.
I don't know. I would don't be afraid of I would say don't be afraid of something that's wrapped in a package that you might not expect. Yeah, because it might be the best package you'll ever open.
So true. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Oh, you kidding? This was a beautiful
cry
session.
I know. We cried like 3 or 4 times already in this. Yeah. But I know I've been so impacted by you guys, so this means a lot to me.
And we love you so much.
We do love you.
We love you.
It'll make me cry again.
Yes.
I love you guys.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
The fact you're doing all this is just, we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very, very proud of you.
Yeah, it's a big need for what you're doing.
I know.
Thank you.
I remember the first time I laid eyes on you in a community group. You're just sitting on the floor and it's like, oh, now you're like a full grown.
You were handing out little gifts.
Yeah.
I was.
You were crawling around on the floor, giving people
Little gifts, yeah.
little gifts
I don't know
for something.
something.
I don't know what it was. It was in Long Beach at the
That Long Beach.
small group.
Yeah. Community group.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
it was.
young then.
I
mean,
know,
Now you're like this.
I thought you were
beautiful
19.
woman, so
You said
complex.
20.
I think I was.
You were 19.
I was 19. Yeah. When I met you guys.
Mhm.
I don't even remember how did we just meet through community group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because you guys, we were all going to the same church at the time. And I remember that Newport house. I have photos of
Oh yeah.
us.
Were you and Diane?
We did with Diana.
Yeah.
And we were like having a cookie party for
Yes,
holidays,
yes.
and Alexis was there. She was
Oh, yeah.
Diana, and a bunch of
Yeah.
my friends were ended up
Yeah.
being there. We had this little, so we had so many moments.
Yeah.
And like I said, things you have spoken over me has stuck with me in so many ways. So you always challenged me, which I appreciated. You weren't the type that were just going to tell me what I wanted to hear. And I'll never forget, Robin, you told me this too. You said, if you knew with certainty that you would get married later in life, how would you live your life now? And yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'd live it up. Like I would go do all these things. I would travel. I would, and that's like what I did.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me.
That's so.
Because I told you, I'm like, I have a feeling I'm not going to get married young. Like I'm not going to get married in my 20s. It just, and so I remember you had said that to me. You're like, maybe like, well, what does it look like for you to get married older? And here I am.
Here you
still
are.
single.
Here you are. He's out there. I know it.
There. Oh, same. Yeah. It's, I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very focused on all this.
Yeah, which
that
is
I'm doing.
where you need to be, which
Yeah.
is the perfect headspace
Yeah.
for the right situation to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Love
Love
you.
it. Thank you.
We love you.
Aw.
Mhm.